rotten eggs or something. It's one of those things where you keep smelling it because it smells so bad you don't believe it. So you just keep smelling it because you're just addicted to this horrible smell. You know what that's like?
Not exactly.
Yes.
It's like something smells so bad you're like, oh, that smells horrible. I have to smell it again.
Hey, it's a Star Wars episode. Hey!
Hey, that's our intro.
It is day something of Christmas.
Wait,
Seven.
did we already start?
It's day 7
Yes.
we have now.
What? I wasn't
There is
ready
no
for this.
beginning, there is no end.
There
There
is-
is only
we
the
literally
Star Wars.
There is. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, we decided to sit down and talk about Star Wars. Since the 7th episode will be out very, very soon. I'm Vacant. I can always get this mixed up. I always say better known as Simon. I'm not better known as Simon. Simon? Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, I've only sipped beer and I'm already slurring. I am Simon, also known as Simon, but better known as Vacant. Joining me are a cast of Star Wars experts. First to
this is Mega Block Maestro here, ready to discuss the living conditions of... I don't even know.
that is
No,
Manimal.
this is a Manimal coming at you with music and fun, and if you're not careful, you may learn something before it's done.
Word.
His fellow Star Wars expert. I'm assuming you're a Star Wars expert. This is some things I know about you, Coryn. I've already said your name and introduced you. It's Coryn.
You have. It is. Hey, I am a Star Wars expert. I know too much. I see all.
And, of course, where there is a Coryn, there is normally a Nairbons.
Oh, is that what I'm associated with now? I mean, fair enough. Hi, I'm Nairbons. I really love Star Trek, but there hasn't been a good one of those for a while, so
Now you can play
I
devil's
can
advocate.
settle for second best.
Battlestar Galactica's the best, so screw off.
Controversial. I
would advocate for Stargate SG-1, but
Star Fox.
That's the 6th episode. The best Star
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing Stars. Can't beat that.
Last but not least, a debutante, if that's the right word, for the happy hour. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge warm welcome to Musicfreak.
Hello. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
It's okay. She's also, as far as I'm aware, music. Are you or are you not a Star Wars expert?
Not quite.
Okay.
I've only seen the 3 first movies.
Oh, just got a prequel. Well, that's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Unfortunately, there may be spoilers for the original trilogy involved in this. I hope that's okay.
That's okay.
40-year-old spoilers will be okay. Cool. No, that's fair. Well,
Lando is the father.
I guess I doubt you could really spoil Star Wars nowadays, the original trilogy, just because it's so ingrained in pop culture.
It's so parodied everywhere too.
I'm saying, in case you didn't know, Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. I know.
What?
Shocking.
You shouldn't have told me that. I haven't seen that movie yet.
He's actually Darth Vader at the end of episode 3, so it's okay.
Are you serious?
If you think about it, episode 3 kind of ruins the spoiler for episode 5.
That's
Well, yeah, if you
fine.
watch it in order, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
See, that's why the proper order to watch Star Wars is actually episodes 4, 5, then 1, 2, 3, and then 6.
Yeah.
Because that way the spoiling isn't done, and then you get, like, I am your father. And
It's
then
like, oh, I
you get to
already
see
knew
the
that.
backstory of that.
Yeah, that's quite funny, actually. It's like, I am your father. Yeah, motherfucker, we knew for the last 2 movies.
Yeah.
At what point do you factor in the cartoons? Because you got to go through Clone Wars, and you also got to get Star Wars Rebels, and don't forget the 2 seasons of the Ewoks cartoon from the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
What?
And the Ewoks movie.
See,
Oh, true. Or the Droids movie.
There's
yeah,
a
but the
Droids
the Clone Wars cartoon came out recently is actually pretty damn good.
I only
Mhm.
watched the one after Attack of the Clones. That was pretty good, actually. The short ones.
Oh, the 2D animation.
Yeah, those are
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good, actually.
Those are also
Those are
really
also
good.
really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't
like-
seen anything else, though.
Yeah, the 3D one didn't start as strong, but by the end it was killing it. Like, it was exactly what you wanted out of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the new one, Rebels, is actually pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, this isn't really related, but actually the new Marvel comics are really good as well. I've been keeping up with them. The main series is pretty interesting. They have like all the spin-off series. They're starting the C-3PO one this month, actually. So that should be interesting.
Well, fun fact, Disney owns both of them.
Well,
I do really want to see where C-3PO gets this new orange arm from.
What?
Because all the new press releases for the new Star Wars movie have C-3PO with his left arm just being like an entirely different model than
it's
in
like,
the past.
I'd call it red, but yeah, he definitely has a different arm now.
Spoilers,
That's
there's a
weird.
7th movie coming out within the
Are you
next couple of
serious?
days.
If you've seen the same Duracell commercial I have,
It's pretty damn awesome. The budget for that Duracell commercial, because I think we had the same one, is ridiculous. It's advertising batteries. How much money do they have to spend on advertising?
a lot, as it turns out.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what's this? This shit don't belong in a Duracell
What's this?
commercial.
What's this?
Where should we start? Should we start?
Start with Phantom Menace.
I guess
Yep.
we should start in order then, I guess, with the prequel. So
Yeah.
we'll start at the very beginning, I suppose, technically the very beginning of the story. And that is episode 1, The Phantom Menace. First question, because I have watched all the movies several times. I do like Star Wars, but I can't pretend that I am really ingrained in, like, with an in-depth knowledge. What is the Phantom Menace? Who is the Phantom Menace?
Who is the Phantom Menace? You know, that's a really good question.
I've never thought of that.
Was it ever answered?
I guess it's technically Sidious, I suppose.
Oh.
Let's just start from the beginning, okay?
Okay.
The Phantom Menace is a terrible movie.
Hey,
enough.
it has a good lightsaber fight though. That's
It
about it.
does.
That's
but
really about it.
it could have been much better.
Absolutely.
And it just wasn't.
Currently
Duel of
sitting at
Fates, though.
56% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, excellent stats there. Nah, doing the stat digging.
I know, absolutely killing it. But it had some redeeming qualities, I like to think.
Yeah.
Very few, but a couple.
Great marketing campaign.
It's true. It had
There were some fun spin-off video games.
The pod
Yeah.
race.
Oh yeah, there's that one. What is it? Jedi Power Battles for the PS1.
Yeah.
That game was so much fun.
Star
that
Wars
was a
Pod
really good
Racer for the Nintendo 64 was also awesome.
Yeah. Like everything immediately outside the movie is pretty great.
Yeah. I was a little bit too young when it came out, so I never saw that one in theaters. So I don't really have much of a connection to that movie.
Yeah.
It was always just kind of like the boring one when I was a kid.
Yeah, I went to see it at cinema when it came out. I remember because, like, before it came out, like, they were showing the remastered sort of episode 4,
Yep.
5, and 6, so I'd gone and that's where I saw them first and didn't realise they were old films. I just sort of, as a kid, I was just like, oh, right, okay, cool. So I saw them and thought they were all new, and I was like, oh, holy shit, there's, like, another one, now a new one. And then, like, you watch that one. And as a child, I didn't understand why they were so different. Like, there was just something really changed about them. I didn't understand the robots in there. I was like, what are these battle droids? And now I understand quite, like, a bit, now I'm older, I understand why it felt different. It felt weird to me as a child. Now I understand that.
Because George Lucas had total control, which is basically what you can say about the whole of the prequels. George Lucas is good when he's monitored carefully.
It's the same with most people, to be fair. I think that's kind of the thing. Everyone has good and bad ideas. Excuse me. But if someone is allowed to hide your negatives and accentuate your positives, that works best for everybody.
Yeah, anyone who had seen Willow could really have seen this coming from George Lucas years beforehand. But we all forgot.
Howard the Duck.
Oh,
Duck tits.
Is Howard the Duck done by George Lucas?
He made a Howard the Duck movie. Immediately after Star Wars, his next big thing was going to be Howard the Duck. Now, Howard the Duck is a duck.
Yeah, but
Really?
Who fucks real people, basically, is the gist of Howard the Duck.
Howard the Duck is disturbed.
Based on the Marvel comic, which is really good.
However, that movie was pretty dumb.
Yeah.
I saw the Nostalgia Critics video on it. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, It's a mess, no matter which way you go with it.
So I guess
Howard the Duck and Episode 1 were both pretty good movies when I was 8.
I'll say, Brian and I were both in that range. We were the target audience for Jar Jar Binks.
Mhm.
And where do you go from there?
Yeah.
Well, see, there is one thing that I don't know, I forget where I heard it. I think it was an interview with the people who made Avatar: The Last Airbender. And they were talking about how when you write for younger kids, you don't want to write a young child that they can pretend they can be to hang out with the older, cooler people. Just write older, cooler people that the kids can identify with. They don't want to be the guy who gets to hang out with Obi-Wan. They just want to be Han Solo or Luke. And I think the biggest thing with this movie is that they had the kid being way too young. No one wanted to be Anakin. He was just kind of the kid who tagged along with the other cooler people.
Yeah, everything that happened was out, like, just didn't involve him. He had no input in what happened, so he was just sort of there. He won a pod race, but
he had his pod race and his little moment at the end, but they're pretty insignificant compared to the rest of the movie.
It's like, get out of that airship. Who would hide a child who would take a child to a war zone, first of all, and then hide him in a fucking plane? Come on.
That was a horrible idea, yeah.
Well, I don't know. It's Liam Neeson, so maybe you should be asking him that. You're close enough, right?
I'll say least. Well, I've already got beef with Matt Damon. Let's not get stuck there. I don't want another Hollywood beef with Liam Neeson.
I was like, he has a very particular set of skills.
He will find me down. He will ninja chop me through the microphone. But yeah. So Phantom Menace at the time when you saw it, did you enjoy it or not?
Again, yeah, I was pretty much the target audience, so I really liked it. And I know when my brother and I got it on VHS, we about watched it to pieces. Of course, we also got the original trilogy that had just been like re-released when we were about 2, and my mother took it away because she thought we were going to set the VCR on fire. Like literally, because if you know anything about VCRs, they have real tape in them, and that shit will catch on fire.
And there, so you enjoyed it as well in the target audience?
Parts of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where, as a kid, I recognize that, hey, there's boring parts in movies. I don't quite get it yet. But then coming back and watching old movies that I can appreciate now, that is not one that got better with age.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Manimal?
Well, again, I watched the original movies first. I don't remember the first time I watched Phantom Menace, actually. I don't think I liked it very much. Yeah. Well, I do remember I had a Jar Jar Binks figure. I broke his ear off, and I got another one. So maybe I didn't mind it. I don't know. I really don't know what I thought about it when I was a kid.
Fair enough.
But yeah, now it's pretty dull movie, except for Duel of Fates. That's about it.
Yeah.
Duel of Fates will always be amazing.
It is, yeah. It was so cool to see that in the 3D one again. Just to see that in the theater, it's so extreme. But just that one part.
Honestly, I saw it was coming out in 3D. I'm like, nah, George Lucas doesn't need any more of my money. Not right now.
Yeah, but it's
Later,
worth
George.
it. It's worth it just to see that opening scroll, though, because that is just the most exciting thing, you know.
See, I mean, I'd love to see any of the others, but Phantom Menace.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Did they film the new one in native 3D? Is that going to be a big feature that they're
I have no idea.
pushing?
It is being released in 3D here, but then any feature film is, so I don't know if it's shot in 3D. I haven't heard that, so I would assume maybe not. How about you, Music? When you first saw The Phantom Menace, what was your initial impressions of it?
I was very young when I watched it, but I think at the time I thought it was very cool.
Yeah. I remember it was when they got to. I liked the beginning, when there was lots of lasers and lightsaber
Oh yeah, the
fights.
beginning was cool.
And then the middle, where they were just in Coruscant and there was lots of speeches and talking and Senate addressing. That's quite
the worst stuff for a kid.
bored.
Yeah.
And then finally it gets to the kick-ass fight. Which, side note, this is the final thing I'll say on Phantom Menace. But why is there like a giant, huge power thing that's powering the planet? Like, what is that power reactor that they fight in? Where does that come from?
Yeah, really. I never thought about that. That is weird, huh?
because it was like, okay, so they're in the palace, right? There's all the ships and stuff, and it sort of kind of had like not a rural theme, but it didn't seem the most pinnacle of like high tech sort of cities or worlds. Naboo, it always seemed quite like that, not as technologically advanced, and then suddenly it's just like change scene. Here's this fucking huge reactor, and like
I mean, the thing about the Star Wars universe, if we're going to get into the extended lore, is that they purposely make things look old while being super advanced.
Okay, fair enough. And of course, after the Phantom Menace came out, that was next. My personal favorite of the prequels, Attack of the Clones. If you're gonna have a favorite of the prequels,
you can.
This was a big movie for me. It was really big.
It was just a big movie in general, I feel.
Yeah. I freaking loved it. Like, it still holds up for me. Like, Jango Fett is just the coolest thing ever when I was a kid. He's just the coolest character. And I was so crushed when he died. It was so devastating. It's like, hey kids, here's a cool character. He's gonna die. The end.
Yeah, but if you think about it, Boba Fett did nothing. He really did nothing. We never got to see him be cool. Because like the bounty hunter is doing in the movie, he outsources. Which is
why does he do that?
Strange, because nobody knows. George Lucas maybe knows, but nobody really knows.
I always wondered that. I was like,
I thought they were like a team or a couple or something.
No, she was just a random bitch he ran into.
Because it was like, oh no, the bounty hunter's been hired by somebody to kill so and so, and it's like, that's fair enough. And then suddenly it was just like, oh no, I'm going to kill. I'm going to hire someone else to kill her, so then I can collect the bounty. And I was like, oh, how weird.
Yeah. It's pretty strange the way they went about it. But again,
you can continue.
I was going to say that this is where the trend of cramming in characters from the sequels or the original trilogy that doesn't need to be in the prequels started, really, with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I get it. He's Boba Fett's dad/clone, but did we really need all this child acting going on?
I didn't think he was that bad. I thought he was fine in the movie.
I'm just thinking until this point, we've had, who are in the original trilogy, we got Yoda, Obi-Wan, and Anakin.
And R2-D2 and C-3PO.
R2-D2 and C-3PO, right? I can forgive the droids because they're the droids. Obviously, Obi-Wan's an important character, and Yoda's obviously Yoda. But then it's like, Boba Fett, really? Boba Fett was cool.
If you're showing Jango Fett, you kind of have to show Boba Fett. It just makes sense.
But do you?
I don't know. I was always disappointed in Revenge of the Sith. I was really hoping there'd be a scene where Boba Fett gets his armor or something.
Hold back.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there.
Well, we were talking about it, but whatever.
But yeah. But I found the first half of episode 2 was rather dry and empty and pointless.
Yeah.
And there's pretty much the first 2/3 because there's also a lot of angsty Anakin going on.
I did like that.
Yeah.
And I always wished that there was split screen so you can see what's going on Camino and then all that love stuff on the other side. Because that stuff was so boring. Yeah.
I will make a point about Anakin's angstiness in a bit, but we'll save it.
Yeah,
but
was the worst shit.
Yeah.
I don't like my master.
Yeah,
but then there's that awesome bit in the Colosseum, and everybody's forgiven.
Yeah.
That's what I think most people remember about Episode 2. At least it's what I remember about Episode 2.
That was
which scene was that again?
When they're tied up in the Colosseum and there's 1,000 Jedi show up and all that kind of shit.
Oh yeah, of course, that stuff's awesome. That's the best part of the movie.
It literally is the best part of the movie. So
they had to do that, yeah. They had to have a scene where there was a fuckload of Jedi's fight.
The best part of the movie is when you see the frickin' clone troopers and the Imperial March plays. That was so exciting. It was like, oh, stuff's gonna go down in the next movie. It was so frickin' exciting.
And then it kinda did.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed because it looked like there was gonna be this huge war and it was so extreme.
See, that's the reason I really enjoyed the Clone Wars animation and the original 2D version, because it really does get into that Clone Wars bit, as you might assume from a series called The Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And I know, at least with the more recent 3D one, it doesn't do it until a bit later on in the series, but they really do get into that Horrors of War kind of atmosphere.
That's really
Wasn't there a game about that? What was it called? It was like an Xbox game about clone troopers.
There was quite a few clone games.
Republic Commando?
Yeah, that game.
The Republic Commando happened, but that was more like a commando thing. That's why I like the Battlefront, or was it Battlefront? Yeah, Battlefront.
Battlefront 2 is still one of my favorite games ever.
I have the original for Xbox, but I tried to find Battlefront 2, and guess how much that game costs nowadays?
How much?
A lot.
Really? It's a popular game. It should be like really cheap.
I know, but I could buy 3 new video games for the same price.
Wow.
It is like
no way.
Have you got it?
Fortunately, it's been re-released for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Oh, there you go.
Available in the digital marketplace now.
I had it. You can download.
You can also buy the next game in the series, $60 at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was disappointing how that turned out.
I would say, like, the game looks cool, and from what I'm told, it plays really well and like Star Wars. But the problem is, there's not enough game.
That's true. There were so many maps on the original, and instant action was so much fun to build a playlist and kind of make your own little story and stuff.
Yeah, and like, they're just not there in the new one. Like, where's Galactic Conquest?
Exactly. That was such a cool part of the game, too.
Like, I know they did
say that 4 whole maps isn't enough. There's DLC on the way. That'll help.
Well, they did come out with 2 new maps for free, which was nice, but it's mostly about the modes, because it's all just more multiplayer mode stuff going on, and I like my Galactic Conquest, man.
Yeah.
That's
there really should be some kind of single player with that game, eh?
Like, even if it still be multiplayer, you can at least, hop on your friends and take over the galaxy.
Episode 2 is not my favorite.
Sorry, I was away then. Yeah, episode 2. Woo! I'd just seen something really interesting on my phone, so I had to look.
Kit Fisto was pretty cool. I really liked him when I was a kid because he was green.
Kit Fisto is the most homoerotic name.
But it was cool. He was green, so I was like, that guy's cool.
So if nothing else, the prequels may have sucked as narratives. However, they did have some of the best art design.
And action scenes. I will say that the action...
And action, lightsaber fights and everything, yeah.
Pretty damn
lots of memorable moments in those movies.
Like, I think a lot of people will forget about the good things they did, as kind of mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, so...
Oh, you know what else is great in Attack of the Clones? Was that scene when Anakin's riding in the speeder and Duel of Fates plays. That was one of my favorite moments in the movie, too.
Yeah, like, I really enjoyed this whole hunting down the Tusken Raiders.
Yeah, that was a good part.
This kind of brings me earlier to a point I was going to make, but I guess I can make it now since it does come up in episode 2. I know a lot of people gave Hayden Christensen a lot of shit for his acting.
I don't know why.
He was good, I thought. He fit the character well.
Because if you notice, nobody in those films gives a good dialogue performance because George Lucas literally... He always chose the worst cuts. Like, you can go online and find, like, some of the cuts George Lucas didn't like, and they're so much better. Really? Like, the entire time, George Lucas is just like, you're a Jedi, no emotion. And they're like, fuck you.
Wow.
So that's basically it. But if you ever, like, in the Tusken Raider scene where Anakin's mom dies, spoilers for the 10-year-old movie, watch that scene. You'll know, just look at Hayden Christensen's face, and this does pop up again in episode 3, and I'll bring it up again, because you might remember that. But, like, just look at his face, because he's amazing when he acts without words. Like, if you just watch his facial expressions, he's doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
he does
he was good
really well
in all those movies. Yeah,
I never had a biggest problem.
No, I never had an issue with him. I mean, because at the end of the day, like because you've got Ewan McGregor in there and Samuel L. Jackson, and
they're amazing.
Horribly miscast, and they are misused, and they give boring shit performances.
You say they were miscast. However,
they were perfect.
The other front runner for a Mace Windu was Snoop Dogg.
But I'm not.
I thought Obi-Wan was really good in those movies, especially episode 3.
I believe
in episode 3 he was okay, but his character changed for me a lot because at first he was just like the young student who was like really obese master, And then
he kind of has to have that progression. He can't just be that young guy taking...
Yeah, no, but like...
He portrayed that heartbreak so good in
He can't be doing belly shots off of Twi'lek up until the end of episode 3, and then suddenly shows up as a wizened old wizard in episode 4.
But he was never really wise in episode 2 or 3. Like, this is the thing, he never really was like, sort of...
Okay, he wasn't wise in episode 1.
Yeah, but he had his time in Tatooine to become wise, though.
He never mentored Anakin.
Okay,
he just sort of was pissed off.
Okay, that's another problem with the prequels, is they cut out all the good mentoring stuff. But, like, Obi-Wan does act fairly wisely in a lot of these situations.
Well, kind of.
There's an awful lot of stuff in the prequels that is told to us as, man, we're good pals, aren't we? You sure did teach me good. They kind of...
Well, I think...
They imply a lot through dialogue.
There was a lot missed between 2 and 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's basically he couldn't. I'm assuming that George Lucas couldn't come up with a creative way to actually show the training, or maybe he just didn't think it was important to show the character development.
It's probably the second part.
Yeah, and then it was just literally. I think there's a scene that in an elevator or something, and then they just talk about all the times, like all the good times, like
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Is there's a lot missing between 2 and 3.
That was their entire like character development between the two during episode 2.
And the rest of the time, Obi-Wan just acts pissed off with Anakin, like as if he's well.
It's not. It's not really pissed off. It's more authoritative, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, "You're like a brother to me." Like,
yeah, but
really?
he did such a good performance in that part, though. When he really portrayed
I will say, because I'm not dissing Ewan McGregor as an actor. I think he's amazing. Trainspotting's an awesome film, and he gives a powerful performance there. At the end there, when he actually gets to show emotion, he's awesome. Like that is a really, really good scene. The rest, it's
again.
Not
That's George Lucas.
Yeah.
George Lucas was specifically saying, be non-emotional, just flat-faced.
This is going back to
ruining the movie.
Exactly, yeah. It's going back to Hayden Christensen. It's like, everyone gave him a hard time, but if he's been given shit direction and shit dialogue, and even if he says it well, it's still a shit direction and shit dialogue. So he can't win with it. No matter how well he does it, or how much he puts into it, it's still not going to turn out good.
Yeah, of course, going back to the whole Anakin Obi-Wan bonding, if we do look at the scene in the Colosseum when they're both being chained up together, that banter right there is pretty much the closest they ever get. Yeah. But it is something. So we do kind of see it, but yeah, it's still very much remember the good times and not here's the good times, which is one of the reasons I like the cartoons of the Clone Wars, because they do show you the good times.
Yeah. The stuff that George Lucas didn't think was important. So yeah, bros or not, Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Well, if you're reading the novelization...
Absolutely. I've never read the novel, but I assume it goes into better detail than the film.
Actually,
the novels
I
are
have the
amazing.
novel for Attack of the Clones.
It
had a lot of detail in it.
I have the novels for episode 1 and episode 3. I don't have episode 2, but they are really good.
It was good. It added a lot of detail, like especially to that. You know that one guy in Tatooine who had like his like no legs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
It like gave him like this whole big story. I don't remember what it was though.
The movies for 1, 2, and 3 have if there's one big problem, it's that they tell and don't show.
Yeah. So much. There's so many times, and it's just like what, where, and I think that's one flaw, and then the other one that I really gets on my nerves is that it just goes back or changes things constantly. Because, like, for instance, there's a scene where when Darth Maul attacks, and then they say, Mace Windu says to Qui-Gon, and this is going back to episode 1, he says, "We will use all of our assets to go back and find this mysterious Sith who attacked you." And then about 10 minutes later he says, "Yeah, you and Obi-Wan go back and find out who attacked you." It's just like, why?
I didn't even know that.
It was like, why would you tell them that? Like, well, it just goes back and you just think, what? Like, I mean, obviously as a child that doesn't register, but as an adult going...
That didn't even register to me ever.
Didn't he just tell him that he was going to go help? Didn't he just say he was going to go help? They were going to use all their assets. Apparently all their assets are 2 Jedi. Obviously they must...
Well, he wasn't lying.
Well,
most of the Jedi don't do much in those movies,
which is another waste because it's like, well, you could have introduced some cool. I know, obviously, the expanded universe goes into them, but like, you know, those guys could have been doing something.
I say this is the big problem with casting big name actors for your big roles, because then you're fucked. Because they
Yeah.
want money, and more movies, more money. See, that's the thing, like, a good reason why the originals all cast, like, pretty much unknowns. And that's why Episode 7 copied that, because, one, they're easy to work with. Two, it's nice to get fresh faces out there. So, like, Samuel L. Jackson comes on and is like, it's Samuel L. Jackson. I know who Samuel L. Jackson is.
I
It's
know
just
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
He's the man
so
from
when
Wallet
you-
that
when you
says bad
see him-
motherfucker.
Yeah, when you see him, you don't associate him with Mace Windu. Yeah.
No.
I mean, I did originally, because it was, like, the first time I was introduced to Samuel L. Jackson, because, admittedly,
Same.
Pulp Fiction is not on the repertoire of an 8-year-old.
Yeah, I've never even seen that movie yet.
Oh
It's
my
really good.
god, you need to.
However, you'll never see Samuel L. Jackson without that afro again.
Yeah.
I guess.
Say what again, motherfucker? How dare you? I still love that. Anyway, Music Freak, thoughts on episode 2?
I don't really remember episode 2 because I was really young,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm really sorry.
No, it's alright. It's alright.
It's fine.
To be fair, I don't remember it.
I haven't seen any of these movies in 4 years, actually. But in the past, I've seen them tons of times, so I remember everything
Do
pretty
you know what?
much.
I've seen the prequels so many times in the recent years, and I've not watched the originals for about 7 or 8 years.
I've been
I'll
meaning
say-
to watch
ooh.
them lead up to 7, but I haven't seen them yet.
Yeah.
I'll say, since I'm graduating on Saturday, and I don't have much to do for the rest of my life until February, next week my friends and I are just planning different shenanigans. So basically, Saturday's the party for graduation, Sunday's recovery, Mondays go to the lake because it should be nice. Then Tuesday's I think we're watching The Martian and getting peanut butter tacos.
Peanut butter
Well,
tacos.
Okay, tell us what peanut butter tacos are.
Yeah, really? What is
Peanut butter,
that?
the tacos with peanut butter in them. I think.
Well, duh, but
Okay.
more
Oh.
detail, please.
I haven't had.
All
them
right, forget
before.
Star Wars.
Yeah, this is the peanut butter
Oh,
taco
shit.
episode now.
Okay, I haven't actually had them before, so this is an experience for me. But yeah, but my point is, leading up to this Wednesday, we are watching all the Star Wars films, since
In
the
one
new
day?
one comes out on Thursday.
Oof.
Going
I'm
back to the tacos. I know this still isn't related to Star Wars. So please forgive me. But there's a new Mexican restaurant that's opened up by ours. It's called Chiquitos. That was a slightly offensive American accent.
Best way to put that, yes.
Chiquito. And apologies to any Mexican people. You can take the piss out of my accents, it's fine. I'm not taking the piss, I'm paying homage. But it's really, really cool. And they did sweet tacos, which were like fruit-filled tacos. And I found that really, really weird because I never knew that you could have sweet tacos.
That sounds freaking disgusting.
To me, it did because I was like, no.
Like, does it have taco meat and fruit?
Oh,
or-
no, not meat. No. It was just a
Oh,
taco
okay.
shell. And then
Well,
fruit and ice cream, I think.
okay, wait. So
Nice.
do peanut butter tacos have like taco meat and everything and peanut butter?
Again, I don't know.
Sure.
'Cause that would be
surely.
freaking gross. That would be
I don't know.
vomit-inducing.
Look,
When I was
I-
trying
the-
to finish up all the food in my fridge, I invented the peanut butter pepperoni panini.
Oh,
And that was
good
pretty
Lord.
good.
the other week,
That sounds terrible.
maybe a month or so from that ago, I went to a place in my town that's called the Celtic Star. So it's like a little Irish pub sort of thing. And that I got their special for the night, which is apparently an experiment they were doing, which was a burger that was like a normal burger, but it had like sharp cheddar, spicy bacon, and peanut butter, and it worked.
Wow.
It
It's a
shouldn't have
savory
worked,
sweet
but it did.
combination. It's good.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of Chinese food that we get, at least in England anyway, is cooked in peanut oil. So,
I think it's pretty common here too.
yeah. So I guess it does work. Because you eat like peanuts and like cashew nuts and chicken and stuff like whenever you have that like Chinese cuisine. So maybe.
I say it's pretty common.
Anywho,
But yeah, watching
Just
all the
talking
Star
about
Wars
Terminator
films.
2.
This is what we like to call a tangent here on the Happy Hour. Is there any more thoughts we would like to say about episode 2?
It was really great when I was a kid, and it still holds up. There's something really cool. There was Attack of the Clone cereal. I got like tons of boxes, and if you send in the proof of purchases, you can get a Clone Trooper helmet. And I still have it. It's really cheap plastic, but it's just a really cool thing
Is it
I
like
got from cereal.
full on, or is it like just the front
Yeah.
of it?
Like you
Oh.
mail them proof of purchase, and they send you like it comes in 2 pieces, and they Velcro together, so it's a
Oh.
full on clone helmet, but it's like some cheap plastic or whatever.
I was joking with my friends today because we had to fill out these senior survey memos things. And one of the things was like, talk about your future financial plans. And I'm like, I'm going to save my money, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to buy a full Stormtrooper set of armor.
Yo.
I say, like, a good one. I've always wanted one since I was a kid. It's dark side all the way. But anyway, shall we move on to episode 3?
Episode 3. Okay, so
The
this
Revenge of the Sith.
This was another big movie for me, and
Yeah.
it was really extreme because it was the first Star Wars that was PG-13. So I remember I thought like, oh my god, I'm not even 13. This is extreme.
And may I say, just right off the bat, the best goddamn name I've ever heard in my life for anything. Because think about it, break it down. Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith.
It's pretty badass.
What is cooler than that? Like, there is not a
I
better
don't know. That character from episode 2 who wanted to sell death sticks was Ellen Sleaze Vagano.
name. Let us ignore the sleazy. Okay.
I know. The cooler Return of the King sounds cooler. Wrong
Nah, Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith, because you have to take in the Star Wars bit.
Yeah, okay.
Because
I'm a Lord of the Rings.
Star Wars.
This was a thing in my school. This was because we were in school at the time. This was a really hardcore thing because obviously Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, similar time frames when they were being released. There was a big beef. There was like almost like you were on the Star Wars side or you were on the Lord of the Rings side, and it was like I was Lord of the Rings because I'd read those books, and a lot of my friends were on the Star Wars side. Because I was like, I like Star Wars, but because they were dissing Lord of the Rings, I felt like I had to protect it and defend it somehow, so I became the staunch Lord of the Rings bannerman. So I was like, fuck
like
you and your
Harry
Star
Potter kids on the side.
Yeah, but they got forgotten about, because it was like 1, 2, and 3 came out, and then 4, and then it just sort of fell off the train for a while. Everyone was like, no.
I've never watched Lord of the Rings, so I don't know. I don't really like those kind of fantasy settings.
In fairness, when I was in like 6th grade, I think, maybe it was 5th grade, I read a fantasy novel, and it was terrible. It was so bad, it literally turned me off the entire genre for like 5 years.
Wow.
That was right around the time Lord of the Rings was first coming out, so I just ignored it. I have never seen the entirety of the Return of the King.
Oh my god, you need to.
Do I, though?
Yes, it is actually legit.
I've seen like the end like 15 times, but I've never seen the beginning of the movie.
It's
You just mentioned that you've got free time to watch all the Star Wars. You can fit in the extended cuts.
I have other things I need to do.
The extended edition of Return of the King.
Like find an apartment, Brian.
Whatever.
So episode 3 then.
Yeah, again, I loved this movie, and I still think it holds up. It's obviously
my favorite of the
it's
prequels.
the best of the 3, no doubt.
I'll say honestly, yeah, it is the only passable prequel in my opinion.
Yeah, the reason I liked it because there was actually not long, with episode 1, there was a huge, just like slow paced, like boring, dragged out like dialogue scenes in the middle.
Kids love trade routes, right?
Yeah, and then the second episode, the same thing. It's kind of like, nah, not really doing anything. But then the third one, everything had a purpose, pretty much, kind of.
Yeah.
There was like always shit going on. There was shit going on.
Exciting scene after exciting scene, really.
Pretty
much. Can we just go can we go scene by scene here? Because honestly, for a long time, when I was younger and dumber, episode 3 was my favorite Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, it cycled back when I learned a little bit more about myself and movies.
Yeah.
But for a while there, I was still that 13-year-old who was like, fuck yeah, lightsabers.
He's got 4 of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I freaking loved Grievous. As soon as he appeared, I was like, okay, coughing robot with a cave. This guy is like the coolest thing ever. And then he died.
Favorite characters.
Same thing with Jango Fett.
Favorite characters out of the prequels, by the way, before we
Grievous and Jango Fett.
Grievous is probably the biggest waste of a cool guy since they threw Boba Fett into a mouth in the sand.
That's true, because that was also disappointing. It's like, okay, this freaking cool robot, 4 lightsabers. Oh, he dies? That sucks.
Yeah, and he doesn't even die. Like, in the book, he's a lot cooler, because he does stuff. But in the movie, I'm just not going to try and think about episode 3 book, but it's so good, and if you ever get a chance to read it, you should.
Yeah.
I had
Because
one of
it's the
those
Star
kids
Wars.
reader books.
It's the Star Wars. Well, I mean, like the little novelization.
I know what you meant, but
Because the episode 3 novel is the Star Wars we all deserved.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
it is on par with anything from the original trilogy.
cool.
But just that movie.
That movie, man. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Obi-Wan probably be one of my favorite. Mace Windu because it's Samuel L. Jackson. And I love Samuel L. Jackson, even though he's not a great character in this. But you can't look off it. He's got a purple lightsaber, man.
He does. That was his, like, one thing. Like, I want a purple lightsaber, and I'll be your character, Jedi.
Music. Favorite characters from the Star Wars prequels.
Well, I like Jar Jar Binks, even though people say they dislike him.
Not gonna lie, I wanted more of him.
I thought he was very fun.
Yeah.
There are things to like about Jar Jar Binks.
If
I
the
won't
rumors-
completely
He's not
shit.
that bad in retrospect.
If the fan
He
theory,
did. Okay, hold on. Jar Jar Binks did lead to the entirety of the Empire.
That's true, eh?
if the theories are true, he is the true mastermind and will be revealed.
Even
That's
if
a
he
fun
wasn't a
theory.
true mastermind, it's still his fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was like, oh man, I like this guy. I'm going to give him emergency powers, and that just started the domino effect. Because nobody else was going to do it but Jar Jar.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, just for context, I mean, we were saying that Jar Jar's the evil mastermind behind it all. If anyone didn't know, there was a guy on Reddit, I think it started on. He basically came up with this entire theory, quite a long and well thought out theory of how Jar Jar manipulated all the events of the prequel and led to Palpatine becoming the Emperor. It's a really interesting read. I'll definitely try and find a link and put it in.
There's a video on YouTube as well. That was pretty good.
That'll probably be even better. Video on
I was
YouTube.
like, there was a image set on Tumblr, I think, that was basically just dramatic images of Jar Jar photoshopped to be in Sith robes, and like the caption was like, "The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing people he didn't exist."
Yeah. That's I mean, it's a cool concept. Trying to think.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of almost fan optimism, sort of. That's almost when there's a large fan base, they'll sort of improve the plot with theories, and it's like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
I'd say Star Wars definitely has one of those types of fan bases.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you even go back all the way to the 70s, when Obi-Wan first mentions the Clone Wars, there was this big theory about how Obi-Wan was a clone, and, like, Obi-Wan was his clone designation.
Really?
Yeah, it was, like,
Oh,
really
that's
supposed to be, like,
interesting.
an army of clone Jedi, which
Wow.
would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool.
That does really lead to a lot of possibilities if you think people watching it in the
Mhm.
70s, when they hear about this Clone War thing.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like, the whole thing would have been that, like, the original Obi-Wan would have, like, died in the episode, like, the beginning of episode 1 or end of episode 1 or somewhere along there, and the rest of them would have just been
His
clones.
Okay.
Oh.
That's
and,
cool.
like,
Oh.
Like, then I guess that would have, like, led to Luke ending up with the one that's named Obi-Wan, but,
So it would be the original anyways if it's number 1, eh?
yeah, well,
Well, there
maybe.
could be AA.
I mean, yeah, if you
True.
start with, like, the A's,
Oh,
it really
okay.
depends how you go with it.
He
But
really,
yeah, that would have been amazing.
if it was
but-
AB1, he would have lost to Darth Vader. He was the original. He would have kicked the shit out of Darth Vader. But
Not that I mind the clones as they were, but it does lead to me explaining, like, over and over again that, no, the stormtroopers aren't clones.
are they not? Because it's
No,
Right.
they're not.
What happens to the start?
Okay, so the original stormtroopers were clones, obviously, because they had a shit ton of clones laying around, and like, we gotta do something with all these clones, can't just shoot them in the head, not
Yeah.
gonna work. So for a while, that was it, and then they started getting more clones, because they thought that worked out. But then they realized that maybe we don't want nothing but clones, and then they just started open recruitment / forced recruitment.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense, and it is never explained anywhere.
No, it's
For those of you at home,
Extended
this is where my fan fiction would have taken place, called Johnny McBadass, the best damn stormtrooper in the whole goddamn empire.
inspired by one of my playthroughs of Battlefront.
Who is that one stormtrooper who's managing to hit everything? He is the only one helping.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's Johnny McBadass.
When you
There's
play
a
as
little
the
bit of
stormtrooper
Johnny in
like
everywhere.
Yeah, very dark film.
Oh yeah.
There was
Oh,
some child murder,
Oh,
woman
that
choking,
scene. Oh my god.
pregnancy deaths, which doesn't make sense because she's in this technologically advanced wonder. You can heal someone's arm, and you can replace someone's arm, but you can't stop a woman from dying from giving birth to twins.
I love going through the kids section of toy stores where they have like the My First figurines for Star Wars, and there's this itty bitty little Anakin Skywalker, and all I can think is, man, this character who killed children is a great toy for children.
Yeah, that's strange, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was like it sort of almost went, I guess, went too far. Like because ultimately Darth Vader redeems himself, and he's a good guy at the very end of the spoilers for Episode 6. He ultimately redeems himself, and we think he's not such a bad guy after all because he doesn't really do much except kill Obi-Wan, I guess. And
Well, he didn't really kill Obi-Wan though.
well, Obi-Wan, yeah, it was kind of like they'd battled before, and Obi-Wan accepted that if he gets struck down, and he can help Luke, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So he was never really that bad. But to say
No, he
that
really
he was
wasn't,
basically
eh?
a psychopathic murderer of everyone, innocent
I never
children.
considered that. That's interesting. Yeah.
It's like it just went so because like when you watch those films afterwards, it's just like holy shit.
Yeah, you could believe that OG Darth Vader had redeemed himself, but then you come back to this and...
Yeah.
Master? What are you doing?
How do you redeem yourself after that? I never considered that or even really thought deeply about the child killing scene. It was just like, oh, this music is so cool.
Yeah.
And that little kid with his little lisp.
Thereafter, what are we going to do? You're gonna die, motherfucker.
I never considered that. Oh my god.
And the lightsaber comes on and just, Master?
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
Oh no.
But the music was so cool. That's all I was thinking about.
And then Jimmy Schmitz comes down and he sees all this shit going down and wisely gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Honestly, the scene where they take the temple and all the other Jedi getting murdered off is probably the best scene in the entire prequels.
I'd say the lightsaber fight at the end is, but
okay, emotionally, it's probably the high point of the movie.
Because again, there's so much. Obviously, Star Wars has a great soundtrack. That doesn't need to be said.
Yeah.
But especially in the prequels, there's a lot of good pieces. Especially Order 66 is probably the highlight. Actually,
I really like that. Yeah, because it's I don't know why, but I didn't expect the whole Jedi purge that happened. I mean, I knew obviously like going in, there's all the Jedi are extinct pretty much except Obi-Wan and Yoda. But I just didn't, for some reason, I didn't see that coming. Like, I didn't expect there to be this whole twist and then just, shit, like, your comrades just turn their guns on you.
They all die at once like that.
Was by far, like, the best part of those movies to me because it was the only part that made you give a shit. Like,
I guess so, because that is pretty extreme. I never considered how extreme that is, actually.
Even just for the shock factor, I mean, because even most of those Jedis you didn't really know, and their names weren't even mentioned in the films.
Yeah,
but just because it was like the fact that, not friends, but their allies who they fought for like a best part of a decade with, have suddenly just callously just turned on them and shot them literally in the back. It was like really, like, when I was watching as a kid, I was like, oh my god, like, oh shit, like, that actually made me hate the Emperor, and like I wanted to see that happen in that fight. But
I never considered that when I was a kid. It was just like, oh, they're all dying. Okay, like I never put any thought into it until right now.
Yeah. I was
like, this is why I want to bring up the animated series again, because like as a kid, I was always like, okay, the Clone Troopers are kind of assholes in this scenario. Also, how did none of them like fuck up and like explain that they were gonna do this, or if they were just always planning this, like, the Jedi would have figured it out somehow.
I guess so, eh? Yeah.
But like, in the Clone series, again, it shows a lot of that horrors of war, but it also really shows how, like, the Jedi and the clones were really good friends, and they worked together and stuff. And you get these characters that are clones, but you see how the clones, like, differentiate into different personalities, and they're really not all the same.
Yeah.
But there's
having so little plot in the previous two movies, the last like half hour of Revenge of the Sith, from the murder montage to the best buddy fight, there's a lot in there. And I still say it's the best of the three, just for those things.
Yeah.
It really is amped up from the first two for sure.
Yeah. Of course, the point I was trying to make there was in the last couple episodes of the animated series, there is this thing where they clones like figure out they have these like biological microchips implanted in their head in the chameleons, which if they weren't shifty enough, were on the plan the whole time.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Because there's a clone that we have followed throughout the series, and his ship circuits early, and he ends up shooting a Jedi, and then he has to get put down. So that's fucking emotional.
Oh my god.
But then there's another clone, which we followed the entire series, who figures this out and is like, I'm going to get my chip the fuck out of my head because I don't want to betray all of my good friends, being the Jedi. And he does, but that also causes his brain to slowly melt down in a literal sense.
This is all in the CGI series.
This is all in the CGI series for children.
Oh my god. Maybe I should have watched it.
It ends with him, to spoil it, I'm sorry, but
that's all right.
It's old now. It ends with him finally like getting to the Chancellor, and he's like, Chancellor, there's a horrible thing. And he's like locked in that same room they build Anakin back up into Darth Vader in. Oh. And then Sidious just fucking murders his ass.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's so dark for a kid's show. Wow.
It's fucking dark as shit.
For those of you who don't know, the showrunners for the Clone Wars and the Star Wars Rebel show were the same group that did Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Really?
So if there's a bit of, hey, there's an awful lot of dark war themes for this kid's show, they had some practice on that.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough.
I never finished Avatar. It was a really good show when it was airing, but I think I stopped watching it after like season 2. I don't remember.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't know why I stopped watching it because it was a really good show, but then it's just like I don't care anymore.
I watched the first 2 seasons of Legend of Korra, but I haven't seen the original. Which is really weird, because I should go
That back. Is really weird. I don't know. How do you even start in the first place?
Because, I don't know why. It was really weird. Like,
I could see why you'd stop after season 2. That's justified.
Apparently
it gets
3
better.
But... Yeah.
Season 3 and 4 are amazing. So, Star Wars.
Anyway, yeah, Star Wars. Back to Star Wars. Okay, so, episode 3, it's great.
I want to bring up a scene in episode 3, though, which, if you're not familiar, is referred to as the Squid Opera. Okay. It's when Palpatine's sitting at his little desk and he's watching the big bubble show with people like swimming in it.
Oh,
Anakin.
I forgot about that. Till right now.
Yeah, they're actually supposed to be Mon Calamari, which is Admiral Akbar's race.
Okay.
Oh, really?
So yeah, it's basically the Russian ballet, but for squid people.
Okay.
Oh.
Is the in-universe explanation.
I forgot about that scene.
And he basically spells out to Anakin that he is the Sith Lord.
Oh, that's right.
Anakin
that was in the trailer.
Still doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But I want to bring that up because, one, that's some of the best acting in the entire movie on both of those actors' parts.
Who played the Emperor again? What was his name? That guy was amazing.
Yeah, I don't remember because like he is amazing throughout all these movies because he's there and he's just killing the role. He's all over that stuff. Yeah. Even in the parts where he gets goofy, he's still believable because you would believe that character would do that.
Absolutely.
He's the guy that goes from "Have you ever heard the tragedy of Dark Plagueis" to "No, you will die."
Yeah.
Power, unlimited power.
The Emperor was one of the best parts of the prequels for sure. Yeah.
I just love that scene. That's maybe my favorite scene in that movie.
Yeah.
Like I know maybe not the best scene, but it's my favorite by far because it's just so good. You get the emotion. You really see Anakin really for the first time because he's always struggled with the dark side, but now he's consciously realizing he's struggling with the dark side.
Yeah. I totally forgot about the Squid Opera thing.
He's a cool guy. Like, up to that point, he'd just kind of been this milquetoast politician in the background who...
There was that scene in Attack of the Clones where he was wearing his robe or whatever. I don't remember. What scene was that again? It was like at the end of the movie, I think.
I was like, he was wearing a sort of... I don't know, he was wearing a robe of sorts. He's always kind of wearing robes.
Yeah, but he had like the whole black robe on at the end of Attack of the Clones, I think. He was talking
I know he was with a bunch of other politicians, so he wasn't quite Sith robed up, but yeah.
Well, he was talking to like Count Dooku or something.
Oh,
I don't remember. It was at the end of the movie. I don't remember what the scene was though.
Well, okay,
He
the
has
last
the hood
scene in
up.
the movie is him with the politicians overseeing the clones.
Yeah, not that. Before that. Before
He has
Count
the hood up,
Dooku
though,
fought
doesn't
him.
he? So you don't know
Well,
it's
I mean-
Palpatine?
I'll say,
Yes, you don't
see
know
him a lot with the hood up,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not actually in the movie like in person. He's always like a hologram.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
Yeah,
meant.
that's the first time
Okay.
you see like the Emperor, like in the flesh. But he has the hood up,
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain. Yeah.
I remember that scene because I had a coloring book, and that was like one of my favorite pages for Attack of the Clones coloring book.
That's amazing. You had a scratch and sniff Phantom Menace book and a
No, Scratch and Sniff A New Hope book.
Oh,
with
sorry, a Scratch
Smelly
and Sniff.
Jabba
Why would a New Hope book have Jabba in it?
because he was in the movie.
He's in
Not
the
in,
extended
wasn't it a
edition.
New Hope?
Yeah,
no,
it is.
no, fuck, he wasn't.
Oh,
Yes, he's in the extended.
You haven't
edition.
seen
Oh.
the extended cuts.
Yeah,
I
no,
have
that's
two,
because-
and they don't exist.
that's
Shut
because
up.
when I got this Scratch and Sniff book, it was after the
He's in
special
the,
editions.
yeah, the special editions.
Yeah, that's why Jabba was in it. Yeah.
Because I own a DVD copy that came out a couple years ago, and they included the original theatrical versions from the 70s and 80s,
I have those in VHS tape. They're the
Yeah,
only
which-
ones I watch now.
which is pretty much the way I grew up on VHS. That's why I was so fucking pumped to get that DVD collection.
Yeah.
Because it has the CG versions, but it also has just the original, which is
the
so
originals
much
are the
better.
ones to watch.
I have
Absolutely.
never seen the original. I don't think. I think
Oh
I've
my-
only ever seen the special editions.
Do you know that
As we-
annoying CG crap that shows up in the background?
Yeah.
Not there.
Cool.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I
I'd
mean, I
also
still
like to
wish-
give a
Well,
short
not just in the
shout out.
background, but everywhere.
As we wrap up talk on the prequels, and we're talking about edits, I want to recommend it's not the Phantom edit. That was the episode 1 version. But there's a really good version that just wraps up the 3 prequel movies into one.
Oh, I
That
heard
is
about
yeah.
phenomenal.
Episode
Yeah?
1.5, made by Eric Foreman, or whoever is in real life. I forget his name all the time.
Oh, Topher Grace?
Yeah, Topher Grace, the guy who played Eric Foreman / Venom in Spider-Man 3 of all things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he made it.
That was the same guy?
It's bad
Yeah.
that I know him more.
I know,
as
Oh.
right?
Venom from
I had no
Spider-Man
idea it
than
was the
anything
same
else.
guy.
He made a cut of the prequels called Episode 1.5, and everybody who's seen it says it's basically the best version of those movies imaginable.
Oh, really?
But the problem is he can't show it to anyone because Lucasfilm.
Oh, yeah.
And now they got Disney backing them, which is even fucking worse.
Ah,
Hello?